The time right now is 8:33. Donald Trump will be sworn in as the 47th president of the United States in just a couple of hours.
He will also have the distinct honor of being the first sitting president to hold office as a convicted felon. So we are in uncharted territory. So we called in the constitutional law expert, CUNY law professor Natalie Gomez-Velez to help understand what this really means for President Trump. Good morning to you, Natalie. And we've said uncharted territory many times over the past year and a half during our conversations. So I guess we're going to begin here with the felony conviction. Will it prevent President Trump from fulfilling any of his duties while he's in office?
Doesn't really look like it, right? That there are certainly restrictions that generally come along with conviction for a crime, especially felony conviction. For example, in New York, if you go to the court website, they talk about a number of collateral consequences of conviction. They can affect jobs, housing, education, a whole host of things. But with respect to the incoming president, it does not seem like those would apply, in part because of the nature of the sentence, the unconditional discharge.
But that's in our country. But there are several countries that prohibit anyone with a felony conviction from visiting. So how will President Trump get around that?
Well, along with the presidency, he'll get a diplomatic passport. And you're right, there are several countries, I mean, in Canada, Israel are among them, that restrict visits from convicted felons. However, there's likely to be an exception that's applied given the office of the presidency. So in this case, holding the office of the presidency will shield the incoming president from a lot of what are normally the consequences of a criminal conviction with respect to the right to travel. I mean, some might still apply, like he can't own a gun, I don't think.
Yeah.
But others, there will be exceptions, such as a diplomatic passport and probably other exceptions to travel, given the nature and the weight of the office.
We're hearing a lot of pardons taking place, right, by President Biden. He preemptively pardoned people as well. President Trump has said that when he takes office, he'll pardon people. The question is, can he pardon himself or not? And is a pardon or a clemency totally out of the question for himself?
On the conviction, that the New York State conviction, President Trump cannot pardon himself. Only the governor of New York could pardon President Trump. Right now, that doesn't look like it's likely, but I'm never saying never on anything these days. So, but that would have to be, because it's a state conviction, the pardon would have to come from the New York State governor.
Yeah. Today is going to be very interesting, this inauguration. From what we understand, his former vice president, Mike Pence, will also be there for the inauguration. It's going to be quite an interesting spectacle, I guess it could be. But how do you think this will go down in history?
This is historic. I mean, the opening question is, have we ever had a convicted felon as president of the United States? And the answer is no. We've had some close calls, right? Remember Nixon? But he resigned and ultimately was pardoned. He was not convicted of, the Watergate burglary scandal. There are other examples. People talk about, well, Aaron Burr could have been, but wasn't. So this is the first time you have someone who is taking the oath of office to be president of the United States having a felony conviction on their record. It's not a good look, but it's permissible under the United States Constitution. That's different from some states that bar holding office with a felony conviction, but not true under the United States Constitution, which only has the age requirement. You have to be a U.S. citizen. You have to be 35 years of age, right? 14 years resident. That's it. The way that he could have been barred was, remember, 2 impeachments. Had he been convicted by the Senate, that would have been the thing that might have barred him from becoming president again. Yeah,
Electoral College and popular vote, he still won, with many folks knowing all of this information, right? Natalie Gomez-Velez, we'll see how today shapes out, but appreciate you joining us as always.
Thank you.
And we will have live coverage of today's historic ceremony. You can tune in right here on PIX11 and streaming on PIX11+. We'll also have continued coverage throughout the day.